really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, really interesting how he considered the fold so heavily because people just under bluff in these $400 tournaments. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what are his bluffs? You know, like if we really think about it, like sure, ace high, like ace high has some showdown value if you had ace five, and when he raises the turn with maybe some backdoor diamond draw or something like that, he actually gets called. And on this kind of board, like what hands do you have that you're folding?
And it's gonna have some misdraws and things too. So I think calling is the only option myself. Let's see if Boogaloo got away from it. Ooh, call is 6.
So this is close between call.
Really interesting. So call is 6, raise is 7,500 is 10 points. And I'm gonna say he said that because this is a very bad player. And so he thinks the very bad player is gonna stack off here with worse queens a lot. I'm gonna guarantee that's what he's gonna say. Very interesting though. I thought call for sure was the right answer. I never am in this spot. I don't know. Interesting spot too. I think this is a little bit of a lesson for everyone out there too. A lot of times the hands we want to float with, like this one, are better as raises. So this kind of falls in that category.
Yeah, and he was kind of an echo chamber for us there, saying, you know, we just get better hands to call and worse to fold.
Yep.
Like he's going to have some gut shots in his range. He's going to have spade draws. He's going to have king X. And we kind of, I mean, we kind of identify kind of what cards are going to be bad for us on future streets, and we're aware how to proceed on those cards.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a very good point, man. You right.
That was the best. You didn't say anything. You won. Just straight up.
You won. I'm just spewing.
All right, so ooh, look at this. You're not opening this. You just looked at this. You're not opening.
Button cut off, hijack, low jack, under the gun one. You are.
Come on now. Okay. I am. So let's see if he.
He's got to open it, or there wouldn't be a hand.
You wouldn't
I'm
be
already down on points.
You're already down on points in real life. Now, obviously, you're gonna cheat, but
I'm gonna evolve.
you're gonna adapt, right?
All right, let's play it.
I'm going to cry if he says he's folding here. Like, if he's like, yeah, you should be folding this in this kind of tournament, and you were actually right. All right, cool.
Wah, wah.
Like a spot where we have
Ah!
standard.
Yes.
And the reason is because queen.
I just want to say for the record that this is the best 3-point score I've ever gotten in my life. Because the right answer was fold.
But you heard what he said about the tables. This is a 3K.
Here comes the excuses. 10
The
points
excuses
fold.
to
It says
open
right
if your
here.
table is particularly tight and weak. Welcome to the $5 2K world. I mean, you know, the $11 10K. I'm opening this, yeah, for sure.
This is the best 3 points of my life.
That's hilarious. And everybody's 14.
Nailed it. What the hell kind of play is that from King Queen? Who does that?
What the hell? Yeah, so Mad Dog.
Jonathan Little's an absolute crusher, so it's nice to have him.
Yeah, I agree, and I
He's
always
just
love
coaching.
playing right after sessions like this because I feel like my brain's warmed up. I'm thinking through things, and so it's a good way to start your session for sure.
But, all right, guys, this is it.
What's up, Mike? You want to give a gist? He was saying Narco Cop was playing about depipping about 28% of hands. He had been very aggressive in this $10 buy-in, and here are the options to fold, to call, to raise to 1,200, raise to... What? Wait a minute, he made it 800, and my man's giving options for 12 and 1,400. So it's already getting kind of spicy. That's so nasty. To be on a site with these other crushers, you know, well-known poker public figures is pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't mention that when I was kind of giving a little intro here too. You know, Assassinato, Matt Affleck, John Little, all coaches on the site, so very highly respectable, quality poker content.
Yep, Evan Jarvis as well. You know, remember Evan Jarvis, Matt Affleck, Assassinato, John Little.
Yeah, so I guess that just makes sense. He just have the ace of clubs in his hand. That's interesting, though. I
How
thought
many
that was
points you got?
interesting.
You didn't do that bad. 45.
I like how you just pat me on the back. You didn't do that bad. Well, yeah, good job, buddy. Like,
The back.
I remember I got the higher score in the first one. So, we're 1 for 1, buddy.
I just want to know.
Calling, guys. Let's see if we're good.
Similar situation. That's pre-flop? I think the pre.
All right, guys, we're checking, I guess. Oh, for fuck's sake.
One of the things I see people when it comes to poker is when people get to the turn and there's an opportunity.
When you're facing a min raise or just a touch more than a min raise, and there's an ante in play, which is going to be the case in most tournaments, I think, going forward, you want to defend pretty wide. If your opponent's making a 2.
All right, cool. You're going 1,400.
I'm going 1,400, guys.
I'm gonna go call with the arm and let's see what happens.
All right, and
I would fold in game though, for the record, in case that's the winning game.
You won. You win. I have to concede. You win.
14K.
14K, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Well, no, we can't win. This is a pretty rough spot because
Damn it.
Mm-hmm. Where you gonna get my chat? They like naughty things. They like just beer, alcohol,
All right, let's do I can do a $10 ACR giveaway.
$10 ACR giveaway courtesy of my man Toe. For me beating that ass heads up in this. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. We'll do this. We'll have to do it at least once a week, man. And then we'll do it every week a couple times.
So it's a tie.
I guess we got to give out $10 to each other's communities. We'll just do our own $10 free roll for each. Or does that sound fair?
Yes. Do you know what this means?
You win. I give his chat $10. Take it.
So that's cool
Filthy
because we have
animal.
2 ties and then a win from you and a win from me. This is like the epic battle. It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, we're even Stevens.
This is awesome.
Take it.
I love it.
You know.
Stop. We got a giveaway going. Let's run the giveaway for the $10 ACR winner. Closing the giveaway. Drawing the winner. My man Sebs are getting the $10 ACR giveaway for this one. We're back. It feels good to be back on the streets. What's happening, Toe, Army, Mendo, Marlon? I see you guys out there. How y'all living? How y'all doing? We've been on the road for a week and then came home and my water heater is broken, so I can't even shave. But life is good otherwise. Life is good. Mendo says been on a downturn. And yeah, I mean, these things happen naturally. Volume and study. And then make sure you are, implementing the things that you learn, of course. Absolutely. Mickey, what's up? Holding me's nuts. Downswing brings the broke. What? Not with bankroll management. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Like I said, it's good to be back on the streets. We're out traveling. We won a Grizzly. Sadly, I couldn't stream it. I was playing it from a hotel. And ended up banking the motherfuckers. So that was good. But, yeah, we're going to get a lot of study in today. Tier 2 and Tier 3 study group after this as well. Here comes my man, Sixes. There he is. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, man. It's been a minute. How was the travels?
Oh, it was fun. We shipped that tournament from the hotel room, which was dope. I was just telling you
That's
about
funny,
that.
yeah.
And I was sad I couldn't do it on stream. I finally take it down and couldn't do it on stream. And then I had an interesting experience while being in Florida for the first time.
Ooh, what's that?
So it was beautiful. Sun was out. The wind was blowing a little bit. It was sunny. I was right on the Gulf of Mexico. You could see it, from my hotel room. So I had the window open while I was playing and hanging out. Go down to dinner, have a drink or two, come up to our room, get into bed, and I'm talking to Mrs. Toe, and I look up on the ceiling, and there are bugs everywhere because I left the window open and there was no screen. 57 mosquitoes were on my ceiling.
No.
And so I got a bag of tissues and I'm on the bed. I'm killing all these damn bugs. So I close the window. Next day, whatever, day goes by. I get into bed. I'm calling Mrs. Toe, say goodnight. I look up in the corner. What the hell's in the corner? A 6-inch gecko chilling in the corner. So it was, it was Toe's wildlife adventure.
Yeah. Ace Ventura down there just sleeping with the bugs and the animals and whatnot. Okay. That's funny, man.
Yep. But other than that, yeah, it was good. Played a little poker, did a little work, saw a little sun, and now I'm home. I'm ready to rock.
Good, man. It's good to have you back. I know I obviously missed you in the study grind because you're the only person that will study with me almost anytime you can. So it's always fun.
Yeah, it's been a little rough, but for as far as finding time, especially with the travel and stuff. But yeah, I'm glad to be back and got to be back on the normal schedule, ready to rock. Feeling good. Feeling real good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You want to tell all the new people what we're doing today? Good morning, CSP. Good morning, everybody.
Sure.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm lucky they weren't palmetto bugs. Palmetto bugs is a fancy word for cockroaches. Yeah. So this is the Pokercoaching.com sponsored study session with me and my man, Crazysixes. We do this every Saturday, noon Eastern. We record them, so if you enjoy this content and you want to see all the ones we've done in the past, they are on YouTube. And we use Pokercoaching.com's content, Jonathan Little's website here. I create content on there. Sixes creates content on there. And we have awesome coaches like Matt Affleck, Assassinato, Tristan Wade, Jonathan Jaffe, The Toilet, Faraz Jaka, who else? Lexi Gavin, Evan, Jarvis. There's a slew coaches. You can sign up for free, exclamation point PC in my chat, exclamation point PC in Sixes chat. For free, you will get 20 free quizzes, a bunch of homework, some push full charts for 100 big blinds or less. Or if you're so inclined, you can sign up for the premium version, which gives you almost 800 quizzes now and a ton of homeworks and stuff up the wazoo. So exclamation point PC in my chat or Sixes chat to get the free link for that. How'd I do?
You did great. You always forget about the staking, though, the staking opportunities.
That's why I bring it
Yeah, there's also an opportunity for members to get staked. I know they've been putting players in some tournaments. There's an application process. And, they give members who do these quizzes and score well and, are active, more of an opportunity to take some of those staking opportunities. So look out for that if you're a member. Stay active. And, yeah, thank you guys for being here. Let's get in it. Let's see what we got
funny,
for quizzes.
I'm a rare bird. I've never been staked, and I've sold very little action in my career. I've done pretty much on my own, and so I always forget about that part because I never do it, but you should. It's a great opportunity.
Oh, I definitely do it. Yeah, I do it. I mean, I dabble in it for sure. Not as much as I should, but I think it's definitely a good opportunity to, take some shots at some turds, decrease some variance, take some bigger opportunities, play against tougher competition sometimes to help your game. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of advantages to it.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Oh, look who's back. Oh, wait a minute. I was about to say Jonathan wasn't making quizzes for a little while, at least tournament ones, and these are cash.
Yeah, I don't see him in the tournament ones. I see a lot of Matt Affleck and Assassinato this week.
We also got Ryan LaPlante in here today. He's hanging around for a little bit. He says selling action to lower variance is a great way to play.
Absolutely.
Leveraging markup can enable a lot of more profitable spots. Yes. Great points. Absolutely.
Definitely.
There's a lot of cash stuff. I think we want to start off. Wow, there's a ton of cash stuff. Evan.
We can mess around with some cash if you want. I'm down for anything at this point.
Well, let's get to the tournaments. Let's do some tournament stuff to start, and then maybe we'll dabble a little. I think Alex's quizzes have been better with the sound. He had a couple that were better lately.
Okay.
I'm looking at this Ace Queen spot, 761, under the gun +1 in the 3.5K World Poker Tour Borgata.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm ready.
All right, cool. Let's do this.
All right.
Let's see. I'm gonna have to move this around, I'm
Everybody.
sure.
So in this hand, you're at the WPT Borgata
Sounds
Poker
better.
$3,500 buy-in. You have Ace Queen of Diamonds in the big blind. Villain under the gun +1 raises to 2.8k. Your read so far, you've been playing a few hours with these guys, actually several hours. This guy is a huge net. He has played maybe 4 hands, right? They were all big hands and they all just got gunned down. Okay? So you have about 40,000 here, about the starting stack. You haven't really gotten a lot going. You doubled up early and then you lost a few big pots that were just cooler-esque. So here, pre-flop, do you want to fold? Do you want to call? Do you want to raise to 6,600? Or do you want to raise all in?
All right, boys. Well, let me move it back a little bit so we can see it. Boom. Here's our spot.
What do y'all think? Granddad coming in with a call right away.
Yeah, we got a flat from Swibers.
This is interesting because I have a standard move here that may change because of the read on the player.
Well, yeah, he said this guy was fairly tight, had shown down nothing but big hands. He goes over 3x. Anybody making this, anybody just shoving.
Who's folding?
Who's folding?
I'm just throwing it out there. It's an option.
Yeah, it is. 6.6K is an option as well.
Meta going out 6,600. Rad Dad and Mickey and All In for Poker all throwing out the call so far.
RBN says all in. First jam I've seen. To me, it's a fold. Wow, we do have a fold in the chat. His range is pretty tight, so call to see the flop. That's why I'm not 3-bet shoving in his face. I would shove without the read.
Hold him his nuts is shoving. He's not screwed.
Daddy.
My default is definitely to jam here. If I think he's super tight, like I wish we had some HUD stats. I mean, how tight is tight? You know what I mean? If he's like a 15, 19 or something, I'm probably still jamming.
Yeah,
but if he's like a 5-9 or something, I'm probably leaning toward flat. Definitely can't fold.
If he's just an absolute
It's
unit
just too
of a
good.
net. I mean, yeah, I'm never folding. It just comes down to how tight we think his range is. Like, is he going to be using this same sizing with his entire range? I wish I had that information. Had he been going this sizing, is he going to use this with pocket eights, his king-queen combo, just worse? We can flat. This would be the top of our range, be nice and disguised. And, we'd probably just pick up equity and go with it, right, at this point. We hit a queen, we go broke. Probably hit an ace, we go broke a lot.
Yep.
Of course. Nut flush draws. When he c-bets, we'd probably be one to check raise to realize all the equity and see both cards rather than just calling and breaking, having an awkward situation. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate, I guess, flatting in this spot, especially when he just goes here. I guess a lot of the times we're not going to see hands like ace-10 and ace-jack when we get it in. He's just going to have, like, flips or have us dominate it.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm on team flat.
Cool. Let's check it out.
Yeah. I mean, we are at a position to his range is uncapped, 19 big blind nitty range. I'm just reading some of the comments, seeing if anyone's...
Sure.
If it
wasn't suited, you would probably jam. I think, in general, jamming ace-queen against this type of situation is good either way.
Well, it depends on the
In a
player,
vacuum. Maybe not.
Yeah, in a vacuum. I mean, it's not a terrible spot to flat, honestly. Up front raise, our hand's going to be disguised. We have a lot of weak hands, so we're like way near the top of our range. So flatting seems okay to me.
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
You should go ahead and call here. Since it's a really tight player, like just getting the chips in or making a raise that forces him to think of an all-in is not advisable when he's ready for a 9+1. So you call. Hand does have a significant amount of equity. The board comes queen 7-3. Would you like to check here? Would you like to bet 2,000? Would you like to bet 3,000? Or would you like to bet 4,000?
All right, boys.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really to talk about, right? We always can check to the aggressor, not just lead out into him.
Yeah, we just keep our range wide. We have so many hands that just miss a break flop like this. He's going to use some hands worse than this is C-bets. He's going to, maybe bet hit some of his under pairs here. And then he may just turn a hand like King Jack suited if he had that. Ace Jack suited. Ace King may even C-bet. Yeah. Let me see. Easy check. Everyone's saying check. Let's dunk bet, BQ says. Nah, I didn't change the check raise. Good morning, Frosty. Good morning, my dude. All right, yeah, I mean, let's just move on. I think most people here are just... I'm just checking here. We're just going to allow him to bet.
Check, but we're about to go broke in this hand. Yep.
you know the king's coming on the turn. Stop it. All right, let's see it.
All right.
You should go ahead and check here, and we'll discuss why in just a second. So you check, and right when it's on him, he calmly slides into the middle, 8,800 chips, looking very resigned to his fate. Now here, do you want to fold? Do you want to call? Do you want to raise to 16,600, or do you want to raise all in?
All right.
Hassan says, Prob, would he ever fold, say, like, to a super net, like 5% open or below? Pre, would you ever fold? No. This hand is just too strong. It's just
fold
too
right
far
here?
up in our range. No, with the ace queen suited, would we ever fold it pre? It's just, I'm never folding it pre. It's just too strong.
No, nope. It doesn't affect our utility too much to call it. It's going to be very well disguised, considering we're going to have such a weak calling range in a big blind for the most part. So being able to just call sometimes with the top of our range versus a nit is just ideal. It's fine. Well, yeah, I don't know. Raise to 16. Yeah, we can only raise.
I got people streaming in some calls. It's a jam for Marlon Reebok, table 6.
Yeah, check call. We got not folding now, acting like. Is there any merit to? Nah, I don't think. To check calling. He probably just checks back his entire range on the turn. No, he probably has no. Yeah, and the stack to pot ratio is just so shallow
0.3
that
or whatever.
he may feel resigned to his fate with like jacks or tens and still get it in. What would he call it off with here that's worse?
Ooh, that's a good question. The one thing.
What would he call it off here with?
It looks like he's committed himself. I mean, I guess the other question is he going to jam turns with pocket jacks on like an 8, you know what I mean, or a 9 or something like that?
Right.
Because if he's going to jam jacks, then I guess we can just call here, and he might get away from jacks in this spot, otherwise.
Right, and these two options, all in and 16-6 are the same, so...
Good point.
Yeah, Ryan pointed that out. It's like, yeah, because he's only got 62 behind, and it's 8,800 more. So
what happens if raise all in is less points than raise to 16-6? We're gonna have to riot.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're gonna have to call the powers that be.
I know, right? That's be bizarre. Ace King, he's never folding after committing this much. Yeah, probably. It's probably fair. But what else?
I mean, you bring up a very good point.
Yeah.
What's calling's worse? But I also think what's putting in another dime at any point in this hand once we call this as well. You know what I mean? Is Jackson?
I guess it's I guess at that point there's an opportunity for him to make a mistake again.
True.
Or to spaz out. Like at this point, I mean, we're just, getting it in and like, okay, yeah, sure, but that same range, we might get more bluffs. Maybe he would never. Would he ever fold here? I don't know why this is so debatable.
Because he might fold jacks here, whereas if we flat, he might jam them, thinking we
check turn
pocket tens,
like
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then on river we jam into him, and maybe he, finds some kind of hero call more often than if we check raise here.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about the set. Hold'em, I'm thinking about, if he's got jacks, tens, nines, eights, how do we get him?
I think everything goes in no matter what the action you take. AK, he's never folding. Ace, king, jacks, 10, king, queen, unlikely. Ace, queen, unlikely too.
Well, shouldn't he fold ace, king here if we jam? Like, whether he does or not is questionable, but should he? I mean, he's got ace high, no draw, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I don't know
yeah.
that he should bet it this way either. I mean, there's that argument.
Well, I think think about the SPR. We put in this 8. There's going to be, the SPR is going to be like 0.3 or
Yeah,
0.4,
1/3 to
something
1.
like that. All right, I'm all in. It's just, I think, yeah, Ryan says if he's deeper, we'd peel. We got to just jam. Hands like jacks, tens, ace, king never fold. Yeah, probably not. 6,200 more getting infinite odds. All right, let's do it.
Jamming it.
I'm jamming it.
I think I am too.
I'm gonna make it 16-6 just as like what the fuck. If that's more points than all in, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Then it's a glitch, and we need to talk to the powers.
I know. All right, let's do it.
All right.
I love this hand because, in my opinion, this shows how confusing the average poker mind is. I assume when you saw this hand, you had a real wealth of emotions. And there is a way to cut through.
I didn't have a wealth of emotion until I saw that fold was 10
What
points.
is really important here? It's very easy in all things in life to get caught up in the minutia and the noise. But what's really important here? Whenever you're making a big call, what is the most important question to ask yourself?
What's worse, that's calling.
Because you're essentially calling off all of his chips right there. He's overbet the pot. What is the most important question to ask yourself? In my mind, the most important question to ask yourself always is, does he do this with X? And X is always the best hand that you beat. Because if he doesn't do it with X, it begs the question, what exactly do you beat? What is the best hand you beat here? It is King Queen. This guy has played 4 hands in 6 hours. That's what I said a few minutes ago. What are the chances under the gun +1 just open King Queen there? King Queen suited, maybe. That's 3 combos. The King Queen offsuits, there is not a chance. And now it's not even 3 combos. You have one of the queens. And if he doesn't have King Queen, the second question you have to ask yourself, is he ever bluffing? Well, I've seen nits sit around for 6 hours, then give away their stack, but they don't look resigned to their fate and overbet the pot, willing to get 20 big blinds on the pot, typically when they do that. So a bluff seems very unlikely. A value bet from a hand you beat seems extremely unlikely. I think this is a clear and obvious fold. I think this is one of the great separators between poker players that succeed and those that fail, is the ability to look at the situation as opposed to the hand. Let me ask you something. What does the general public do with this hand?
Oh, guys, this is a 6-minute discussion.
Every time you see this hand in a casino, what tends to be what the big blind does with ace queen? Grumble, 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 I guess I'm all in. Deep sigh, I guess I'm all in. Deep sigh, I guess I call. If that were the brilliant way to play, wouldn't the general public all be millionaires? The general public is not capable of folding top pair. Good poker players decide when they play a
I have
big
so much
pot.
to say.
No one can force you to play a big pot except for yourself. 90% of the quote-unquote coolers I see are not coolers. If you work through the hand, it's very unlikely the person has a hand you beat. Now, you might say, he might be doing this with jacks. Okay, the name of the game is not give him one hand that you can beat and then get all your money in. The name of the game is look at the entire range. Okay? Aces absolutely makes perfect sense. Kings absolutely makes perfect sense. Jacks does not make a whole lot of sense. He looked very resigned when he put his chips in. That tends to be a pretty big hand. There's not even a flush draw he could be getting it in with. I thought this was the great thing about calling here out of the big blind is nits tell you exactly what they have every time. Nits are honest players. You just have to trust them. All the pain you have with nits is because you want to see something that isn't there. You're projecting how you play poker onto them. I have a friend of mine. She's an Asian lady, a senior citizen. She plays aces, kings, queens, jacks when she plays cash games, and she destroys guys in their 20s and 30s because they'll get to a hand like this, she'll bet really big and tell you exactly what she has, and they'll go, God, she could be doing that with jacks. And it just never happens. So many guys screw themselves because they fail to see reality on reality's terms. And the truth is, what should you do with top pair with 25x effective? 98 times out of 100, you're getting it in. The guy who's going to separate himself is going to be the guy who can identify that one situation out of 50 where that's not a good idea. This was as obvious as you could make it. The guy has played 3 hands. The guy looks very resigned to his fate. The guy has overbet the flop. He's clearly committed for a 2x pot size bet. He raised from early position. This is as clear as you could get to making it easy to identify that one time out of 50. You must look at the entire situation and remember, no one decides when you play a big pot except for yourself. You play big pots on your terms. If you did not feel comfortable with this, it is totally fine to fold. I thought this was a fairly easy fold.
He's even got backdoor diamonds.
Yeah, that's what's tough. He even has the diamonds. Very interesting. He went very deep there, and he made a lot of good points. These are points that really just looking at it objectively are going to be very hard for us to just say, yeah, that's a fold. You know, we have to be in that spot, see this guy be at the table, know how actually nitty he really is.
I just feel like, why do we play ace queen at all if we were going to fold on a queen 7-4 with the diamond? You know what I mean? Like, we just
fold
we
pre.
should have folded a pre. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, somebody said, yeah, we should have just folded it pre. And if we're gonna make that hand hit it post that hard with the backdoor diamonds as well,
and then just bail.
Boom. Like, what do we expect him to do? Like, just check ace king, and then I don't even know. But yeah, I guess, are we going broke with if we hit an ace as well and he does the same thing? You know.
That's a very good question. And he said we can't just put him on a hand, right? So we can't just put him on ace king, right? So that's a very good question.
Oh man, yeah. And Ryan said people aren't willing to bluff like they need to. It's easy to do in games, trusting your people to play their style. You're still making very important stuff. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, in this spot, I think I would just get it in a lot, man. Like, we would have to be sitting together with this person and have a very deep, like, read on him, and he's got to do something. We can just say, all right, he has it. He says, I'm always losing 20 bigs.
And read or not, just hit the hand too fucking hard. Like,
yeah.
So
probably
hard.
say like 98%. I'm broke. Happily for sure. Stack off. Yeah, it's just backdoor diamonds as well. Like, how are we folding? All right. You got one? You picking one this time?
Uncle says, hit top 2. I'm going broke aces. Blah, blah, blah. Yep. Turn bet. Told us it wasn't ace king or jack. There was no turn bet, Mendo. It was just a flop bet, right? So anyways. Give me a second because I heard someone hit the follow button and I don't have my lights on.
That guy's just going to show up with jacks there.
Sometimes, right? And they're scared.
Dude, there's just no way. Yeah, sure. He's just going to, people are going to just like stack off like, oh, this is as good as it gets for my pocket tens, or
I'm gonna find out where I'm at now.
Really big. Like, I'm gonna find out where I'm at now, and
yep,
I don't know. There's just no way.
There's just no way.
I'm just trying to.
We have bankroll management, right?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've just seen it with my own eyes. People do that shit, dude.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me to get behind.
Cool. But, you know, assassinate right out the gate. That's what you guys are always preaching, but don't put people on special hands, put them on a range. It's true. It's very true. All right. Next one. Let's do my little. Oh, we already did King 9 suited. Damn it. What's this one? It's in the
What number?
Queens in the main. All these are from the main.
You got
I don't want to do the main.
700 to pick from, my dude.
That's true. I'm not trying to scroll down too crazy. Aces in the main. All right, let's go with 770.
770? Okay.
Multi-way with ace queen suited.
I like it. All right, we're doing it.
All right, in this hand we have the ace queen offsuit at 1K big blind at under the gun +1. Standard raise every single time. We make it 2.5x this time. Anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 is fine. We're going to go multi-way here. The low jack, the small blind, and the big blind all call. So we go 4 ways to the flop. Ace, king, 9, rainbow. Check. Big blind checks. Should we check? Bet 3,000, bet 5,000, or bet 8,000?
All right, what size we see betting here, boys? What size we see betting here in the main? Ace, queen, multi-way. Somebody CSP says 3K. 8K BQ says. All right. Both ends of the spectrum. One small, one big. RBN says 5. So we've now seen all bets.
That says 6s. He said that you got to be the player to identify the one time that the situation comes up and makes a great player a great player. I mean, there's definitely some truth to that. You know, knowing when to deviate even when it sounds freaking crazy. I mean, absolutely,
Right.
There's absolutely some truth in that.
I mean, we should be pushing our equity here, right? Like, I don't think I'm gonna use a small size here.
Let's see what they say out here. 3K from Cyrus, 3K from Hope Your Run's Good. Thank you for the follow.
3K just gives so many like hands a good price, like, and then
Linda's going
turns are gonna
8.
be coming, like,
3K
then
for
you know
almost
we're
both
gonna
of them.
most likely get multiple callers for that price, and then a lot of turns become very questionable. I think at this point, you know, in ace X, we can get value from ace 10, ace jack, ace 8, ace 5. You know, we're suited at king queen, king jack. All these single pair
things
hands that
like
might call
queen jack
one
of
back.
hearts, queen jack of
So,
diamonds.
I mean, I think we just want to go big, right, for one, at least right now. Condense some ranges. Likely aren't facing a hand like ace king.
Yeah, this is one of those weird spots where I would go somewhere between 5K and 8K myself, I think.
Like 7 or something like that. 7-5
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I kind of like just going. Yeah, I mean, I would probably go like 75, 7. Maybe even going just like big or like 10 would be good. But I'm gonna say 8. Although I think Matt might say 5.
We got 1 8K, 2 8Ks, 6K protection range on flop, so if you miss, you could bet the same, except I wouldn't just bet more than half pot if I miss on a board like this.
So 5 is like 40%. So 40
5K, a bunch of 5K, 1 5K, a bunch of 3Ks, and a couple of 8Ks.
There's just still so many ace 10, ace jack, ace 8, ace 7 suited. Worst will aces suited. King jack they might call.
I'm kind of
Queen
leaning
jack
toward
suited.
5K,
Just,
given the options myself. I think 8K is a weird bet size.
yeah, I would just be like 7 something. So I'm gonna go with the bigger. I would honestly probably go 7-5. But I'm thinking 8.
All right, I think we're gonna go 5K and split the difference.
I think Matt's gonna go 5K to be honest. But let's do it.
All right, let's find out.
multi-way here, you pretty much always want to be betting because there's just so much equity you want to deny, and equity denial is much more important, especially with the big blind in the pot. You can have so many random hands. We have a lot of really strong hands here. This is a really good board for us. We have pocket nines, pocket kings, pocket aces, ace king, ace nine suited. If we were really feeling frisky, ace nine off. I'm not sure if I would open that at this table or not. I probably would have at this table, to be honest. So ace nine off, ace nine suited, and then we have ace queen, ace jack, ace 10. So ace queen is really strong. It's not the top of our range, but we definitely want to be betting here. We get a lot of value from a lot of hands. I like betting small, 3,000. 5,000 is fine too, but in these multi-way pots, because there's 4 ranges, you just don't want to be bloating the pot too much because there's just so many. It's hard to have enough equity because we're 4 ways. Like we probably have like 33% equity here. 4 ways, which is a lot. 25% would be even. But as we know, and we've talked about, when you have that low equity, you can't bet large because your equity isn't high enough. So we'll bet small, clear up some of our equity so we can have more equity on the turn, hopefully in a heads-up pot. We bet 3,000. Small blind, who's a good regular, calls, and the big blind folds. The turn is the 7 of hearts, and a good rate checks. Should we check? Bet 6,500, bet 12,000, or bet 17,000.
So,
What's up?
all right. So we got, what'd you get there for?
I got 7.
I got a 5.
Yeah, he said betting
for
big
eight.
was a little bit. It was a little too big.
But I
right?
mean, I know he's talking about the kind of equity distribution here. I just, there's hands like King 9, Ace 9. But I think a lot of the times the rest of their range is weighted towards just worse Ace X and King X, and they're just going to be calling a lot. With the weaker part of that range, even for a big size, going to get a heads up a lot. So I feel like, I mean, early in this thing versus bad players, yeah. I don't know if I would go small. Like I'm not going to go small here in like a small mid-stakes tournament or a small tournament. I don't know. I would tend to go big.
Here?
No, not in this.
Oh,
spot.
yeah. I mean, I would go bigger.
No flop. Bigger on the
But
flop.
8K seemed a little too big. 2/3 pot seemed a little too big on that board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I mean, we get this every week. The volume is up all the way. There's nothing we can do. It's a conflict between Skype and the browser volume, and there's really nothing we can do about that. So yeah, run away. 12K, 12K, 12K. I see 12K, 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 12K everywhere. Which
Everybody's going 12.
I'm going 12 too, actually.
Me too. That would, I mean, yeah. It just feels like we go 12 and then versus small blind range. We'll just have to make a decision based on what the card is if we can go for 3, but feels like we go 12 here and then reevaluate on river if we can go for 3.
Yep.
I wonder, yeah. Let's see what anybody else got anything except for 12. I'm seeing nothing but 12s.
How runs
right
only betting 6,500.
Theory works pretty well here. 12 or 20K. I'd heavily lean towards 17K as an exploit. Ryan's going 17K as an exploit. Theoretically, 12 is probably going to be good.
I can see that.
So, yeah, I mean, I would tend to just go 12 here. So let's see what my man Matt does. Ready?
Yep.
So the 7 is pretty much a blank. I don't think we bet ace 7 suited on the flop. We might bet it, but probably check it maybe only with a backdoor flush draw. So that would be in hearts or diamonds. We probably only have ace 7 of diamonds. So ace queen's pretty much still in that same bucket. We have ace 9, ace king, pocket kings, pocket aces, and then ace queen's our strongest one pair hand, obviously. And we have king 9 suited as well. 2 combos. The good reg in the small blind could have a hand as strong as. Every once in a while, he could have ace king, although I think he squeezes it mostly. He could have ace queen. He could have ace jack. He doesn't have ace 9 off because I know he's a good player, but he does have ace 9 suited. But there is only one combo of ace 9 suited available, and then he can have pocket 9s. So he doesn't have a lot of hands that beat us. He could have king 9 suited every once in a while, but so I think our hand's strong enough to bet. we're probably only going to get two streets. Although on a complete brick, we might get a third street of value. But depending on what sizings we use, I like betting 12,000 here. We should be betting pretty polar when we bet here. I don't think we need to be betting small, so I like betting 12,000. Betting 17,000 is fine as well, but we probably fold out too much of his range. And 6,500 is okay. If you bet 6,500 on the turn, you're for sure going to bet the river. But checking is meh. I still like betting it on the turn here. Get value out of ace jack, ace 10. We bet 12,000, and the good rate calls. The river is the deuce of hearts, and good rate checks. Should we check? Bet 15,000, bet 23,000, or bet 35,000.
So we want to bet, we got some comments in my chat. Well, we want to bet small to rope them along, but we don't want to give them a great place to come on with lesser hands that could hurt us in later streets. I mean, there's very few hands that can hurt us on later streets, Marlon, which is why he wanted to bet smaller on the flop. And what hurts us? A 10, a jack, maybe. Other than that, we got it pretty crushed. And the idea is that when he calls the smaller size flop bet, he's got to have an ace or a king, and he's probably not going to call a double barrel with the king anyway, so we want to get max value from the ace, which is why we went 12K on the turn.
Oh yeah, we go smaller. His range, we don't condense his range as much than we do with the bigger bet.
Mm-hmm.
So he continues more often to a small bet with more of his range.
Mm-hmm.
The turn bet should slightly condense it in some cases. At that point, he's going to have some showdown value hand. He's probably not going to be chasing as much. So yeah, do we go for 3 and try to get ace jack, ace 10 hand, ace 8, any of those combos to call here? And if so, will those hands call big bet?
Yeah, I got a bunch of 15s in my chat coming in. Cyrus says 15 for value 15 for Big Daddy. Rad Dad says bet fold 15 for thin value. Man, I'm a little surprised that everyone's like thin value. I'm going for like max fucking value. We're strong as hell. I figure if he has 2 pair, he's gonna raise the turn because we said we have an ace. So if he's got ace 9 or ace 7, ace king, he's gonna raise the turn, right? Which makes me think if he's got an ace, he's got a single pair ace, and we beat all of those.
Right?
Yeah,
very unlikely having ace king. Ace 9 would find some frequency of check raise on the flop.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't want to go too big that we start losing one pair of combos, even some of the ace 5 and anything like that. And I think being in position here, I would always tend to go half pot or a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go 35. 35 seems too big to me a little bit because, again, like you said, I don't want to scare anything off. But I would go, and this is the main, so I would go like 27, something like that. 28.
Yeah.
Something
And
like
you
that.
got it. And it's interesting, like, yeah, it's not necessarily true that he check raises his ace X because you're going to have ace king in your range and you've double barreled into multi-way pots. So probably
I don't think
is
he's gonna
just
check
going
raise
to
those, but I think
flat.
he's going to check raise all his 2-pair combos, right?
No, he's not going to check raise. I
On
think
the
a
turn?
good player, why wouldn't a good player, because you're going to still have aces, kings, and ace king in your range when you've opened in early position and bet into 3 people.
Yeah, but I'm also
Like
gonna
that
have
2-pair
ace
can be
queen,
dead.
ace jack,
Yeah, but
ace
those.
X with hearts.
So what is his range? What does a good player's range look like when he check raises? He's not getting value from a single pair ace at that time. When he gets called or plays a big pot, it's likely against one of the sets or a better 2-pair. So I think they would call a lot. A good player would. I would never check raise 2-pair on the turn here. Ace 7? No way. We would just get value from nothing, and get
Get value from ace
crushed.
queen.
But I mean, at that point, we don't have a worse value hand.
I agree with a worse value hand. Well, again, like I guess no. I mean, I would get value from. I think we'd get a lot of value from ace queen, especially ace X with the hearts. Sure.
Nah.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, I think ace 9 can call more often and check raise. I'm ready with you. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, somebody's opening from early position. They're barreling ace king 9. They're just gonna have the fucking butter sometimes in the main event. Seems kind of suicidal when you get all the money in with ace 7 for 100 bigs. You're just done in a main event.
Sure.
I'm just not ever doing it, dude. But in this case, I would bet 20-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I think it'd be good. What's up, Dark Red Star? How you doing, man? Thank you for being here. We appreciate your support, my dude.
Wouldn't he bet the river with enough flush? He'll never do that because we fired twice, and so he's not going to just lead into us on the river with the
Probably a
flush.
bet fold. This is probably just a bet fold. I think there's enough worse hands that can call, right? I mean, I think ace jacks,
I think
ace
he would just
tens,
check here on the river.
gonna
Check
fight some
back.
heroes. Ooh, we got to check. All right, I'm doing
If a
it.
check invites the bluff, we're in position. We can't invite the bluff.
You know,
We're in
Matt
position, right?
did
Or is he on the
say-
button?
We're in position.
That's what I thought.
Matt did say on the we most likely have a 2-street hand. So he might just be checking
Yeah,
here.
but I don't know if we have 2 streets because he's calling. I mean, I thought when he was saying that, I thought it was in
He's
relation to the
bet
fact that he
folds.
thought,
That's what I thought.
people are going to fold river a lot. You know what I mean? Not that we're going
Oh, I got you. Oh, I see what you're saying, that we're not betting 3 times and getting called for 3. I see what you're saying. All right, let's do it.
23?
I'm doing 23.
Me too.
You heard him say that on the turn, though. He did say that.
Not a brick because the
I knew
backdoor flush draw got there. So it only completes the backdoor flush draw. But the problem is now that he can have definitely like ace jack of hearts, ace queen of hearts, ace 10 of hearts, ace 9 of hearts, ace 8, ace 6. Every ace suited ace of hearts almost. He 3-bet some of them. So that's a problem that we're beat now some of the time. But the other problem that's more of a problem now is a lot of our bluffs are going to be like queen jack of hearts, jack 10 of hearts, 9-8 of hearts, 9-10 of hearts, jack 9 of hearts. And now those aren't bluffs. So I think our value threshold here now is like ace king is the weakest hand that we bet for value here. Maybe ace 9, the ace 9 suited, the one combo we have. So I think we just bet the ace 9 suited and better and the flushes. I think we bet some of either the larger sizes, 23 or 35. But we never bet those with this hand. This hand's just a check. Expect to win a lot at showdown, but it's just hard to get called now by a worse hand. We do check, and luckily the deuce of hearts came on the river. It's not showing it, but our opponent had pocket 9s, and I actually think he played the hand really well. If he starts going crazy with 9s on the flop, he's really narrowing our range to like ace king, aces, and kings, and there's 9 combos of ace king and 6 combos of sets. So yeah, he wins a lot of chips, 9 times, but 6 times he gets demolished by our kings and aces. So yeah, I think his hand was played actually fine, actually pretty well, I think. So yeah, a pretty good hand, I think, to learn from.
Matt always baffles me sometimes, man. My dude always confuses me.
He does.
I mean, we go so small on that flop. It's not like we're an ace is just going. It's not like ace 5 is just going to fold. It's not like ace 10 is just going to fold suited. So I think there's just enough worse hands there. And then if we go big on the flop, go big on the turn, I think then we check river happily, right? At that point, when they call 2 massive size bets,
Yep.
We've condensed their range enough. But in the manner we played it, we went small, kept his range pretty wide. Then on the turn, we make a pretty reasonable standard bet where some of those same hands are still going to call that we beat.
And then checking the river makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think he's checking because if he gets raised, he's folding, and that's the bottom line. Agreed. Yeah, he didn't want to bet fold a hand that strong, and he didn't think there was enough value hands, which, makes sense. Because he did mention he gave it away on the turn. He's like, I don't think we can go. We have a 2-street hand,
Yeah.
Whenever he says that, it's always going to be a check for him on that river.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what we got going on? I wish we had more for Oz. We've taken all. He put out some quizzes and we just fire sold them all. I just took them all. So
He doesn't have that many, so it's easy to get through them.
Looking for. You know what? Let's do a cash game one.
What?
Yeah, let's mix in a cash. Let's play some garbage, some 5-3 of diamonds.
What?
2-4. We'll mix in a cash. We got plenty of time, boys.
Ooh, off a live event, it looks like.
Live cash. So it might be one of the recorded Poker Night on America streams or something
Yeah.
like that. That'd be cool. All right, let's do it. 776.
Yep, I'm on it.
Cool.
Here we have another hand playing
Yep.
100, 200, 400. O'Han limps with the Jack 9 offsuit, which is not such a great play. Then it folds around to Antonio Esfandiari. We see he's going to call. But he has the 5-3 offsuit. Should we fold, call, raise to 1,200, or raise to 2,200?
Wait, I'm confused.
What position? Where is he at? What position? Is he in the small blind?
I have no
It looks
information.
like
I don't know what's going on.
I think he's on the button. And we're in Antonio's spot, right?
Okay, and he's got 5-3 off.
On the button.
And there's a straddle and a limp.
And a limp, yes. So right away,
I mean, I'm still just folding.
he's getting 3.5. Is he the cutoff? Like, is that Sam on the button? No, he's on the button, guys.
Sam's in the small blind.
Sam's in the small blind.
Yeah, blonde girl is in the big blind, and then Rob Young is in the straddle under the gun. So it's on the button. The question basically is, do we limp behind with 5-3 off, or do we squeeze with 5-3 off with the dead money out there on the button?
Versus, just a kind of what is this quiz? Yeah, I'm kind of confused. I wish there was like some kind of graphic to see exactly where we're at. It's 1,400 in the pot. I guess, are we going to squeeze? Everybody probably should be folding with nothing invested here, right? Just garbage.
Huffy says the answer is fold, but then the lesson is over. They've done that before, Huffy. Don't be fooled. They will trick you. Button Big Daddy's not scared. He's ISOing to 1,200. He's going.
Yeah.
He's going for the squeeze.
With the dead money out there, I think I would want to go bigger if I am gonna squeeze.
I would definitely go bigger if I was.
I would go to. I mean, if there's a raise option here, I'm just blasting the shit in there for 2.2K probably.
12, 16.
Well, maybe we should just go. Yeah, I think that would be good. Because we don't want to invite action going 3x with all this straddles and all this extra dead money. If we're going to raise, it should be 2.2K, but I'm folding.
Yeah.
But let's see what yeah.
You going to fold?
Yeah.
All right, me too.
This is about the easiest fold in the world with the 5-3 offsuit. I would never make any other play. That said, maybe Antonio thinks that he's just like the absolute master of deep stack poker, so he can limp on the button with close to any 2 cards. That said, I do not think most of us are the master of playing the button with any 2 cards, so fold the 5-3.
So fold the 5-3.
Trickett has Jack 6 of hearts. He elects to call, which, is a little bit loose, but at least kind of defendable because you can make flushes and whatnot. But, Jack 6 is not the greatest hand. I would probably limp in his shoes, but it's not like I would love it. So, a bunch of junky hands go to the flop. Jack 6-4. All right. Check, check, which I think is fine for Trickett to check the 2 pair. O'Han bets 2,000, so he pots it. And now it's Antonio's turn. What should he do? Should he fold, call, raise to 6,000?
It would be nice to know how deep everyone was this hand.
With the open ender, huh?
I mean,
yeah, because it does make a difference. If I'm short, I'm going to try and bet to get it in at some point. If I'm deep, I'm probably going to check to realize my equity.
Yeah, we're in position. I mean, we're just going to be flat in here, right? Like, I don't see a reason to turn this into a bluff where we don't get to realize the equity. Somebody comes back over the top. We do have 5 high, so.
Yeah, we got the open ender too. Like, we have some okay implied odds as well.
Yeah. BQ says 9K. Sheesh.
6K
might be rich for this game.
There's no bet here, right? Oh, wait, there was a bet. It's 2,000, and then I'm sorry, I missed the bet.
Yeah, he went 2K. So yeah, it went
So yeah, again, like if I have like 20, 25 bigs, I'm probably just gonna rip it. And if I have 50 bigs, I'm gonna flat.
Yeah, I think I mean I'm just flatting this. Yeah, Ryan says there's probably 200K deep, so there's a shitload of money on this table.
And I'm gonna flat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're just gonna flat. We have position, we're on the button. We get to see how the rest of the hand plays out. If we check raise here, right, and then someone else comes over the top with two pair or set something like that, it'd kind of just be just tragic to put in 9K, have somebody put in 40 or 50, and you're like, oh my God, you know. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm just gonna
Call in
flat
my
here.
chat. Except for Huffy, who bet 6K. Ginger, Mendo, Rad Dad, Mickey, Bovine, Big Daddy, all call him.
Yeah, I'd flat too. Everybody's calling. Buckeye says 6K, but knowing his hand call. All right.
All right, let's go.
Ooh, I like it.
This is a pretty rough spot.
Pretty
It
close.
depends on a high-end stack. If he is equally deep as Antonio, I definitely like raising. Problem is, I don't think he is. Most likely, he has more like 100K. That said, I would still raise it up here to about 6,000. Calling is fine, but with your draws that have a decent amount of equity but have just like no showdown value, you do want to start raising usually relatively early, especially if you have sets, good top pairs, etc. in your range, and presumably Esfandiari does. But let's take a look. Esfandiari elects to call using pretty loose passive poker. Now Trickett should definitely put in the raise with two pair. He should be raising here with his draws and his best made hands, which is what he has. In this scenario now, actually notice here a hand has about 125, 175, 150, something like that, 200K. Call it 200K. So I definitely like a raise for Esfandiari on the flop. Now that we know that. Trickett now raises to 9,000, which I think is fine and good. He wants to be raising his best hands and draws. And I think Ohan actually has a pretty clear fold. This is a spot where Trickett's going to have good made hands and draws, right? So the draws have loads of equity. The good made hands crush your Jack 9. So you don't even need to stick around here for 2,000. When you pot the flop, get called, and then raise, yes, you could be against two draws, but even then it's not like you're loving life. So you just have to fold. So now, facing a raise to 7,000. So, yes, I'm sorry, raise to 9,000, 7,000 more. Antonio fold, call, re-raise to 22,000, re-raise to 42,000.
All right. So he's got to call 7 to make 22, and they are very deep, 150, maybe 200K deep effective. Oh my God, how do we not call in position at this point? 3-1 in position. With the draw, with the implied odds, we could make a win a very big pot versus a set or two pair or something like that. Yeah, I mean, we can't fold. I don't know the purpose of even raising here. When he does actually put in a raise, he's going to have two pairs sets. Very strong top pair hands. Is he ever going to check raise one pair? I don't know. Call. Gotta call. Flat 3-1. What are you doing, Toe? What's the army saying?
I don't know. I'm calling.
You're folding now?
I'm calling.
Oh, I thought you said you're folding.
No. We got great implied odds. We're pretty disguised. So I think we have to call. We're super deep, right? So yeah, I'm calling.
I told you about watching World Star and studying at the same time, my dude.
I was answering chat. Sorry.
It's all good.
World Star.
All right, let's do it. I think we're just gonna call here.
You know that World Star shit's my weakness too. It's how I stay young. It's the only reason, like, I'm old. I'm turning 42 in a couple weeks, and so like the only reason why I know like what a thought is or any of the little rappers with the littles in their name, the only reason why I keep up with the young people is through World Star.
Oh, that's funny as hell. Always gotta troll you about that, but let's do it. Call.
All right, cool.
This is a pretty rough spot, and it's only a rough spot because I think Sam Trickett used a good raise size. when he is raising here, he wants to definitely raise big to price out draws and just get called by worse made hands, right? Which, basically what he's done. So good job, good work. Now, on to Esfandiari. I think he should call, recognizing though that sometimes the 7 is not going to be good. Although that said, like when you do have the worst draw, you're going to find that usually, well, the worst open-ended straight draw. Usually you're pretty live because most people aren't raising the 8-5 all that often, right?
Nope.
So for that reason, when Antonio does get a 7, it's just good almost every time. So I like a call. He's given it some thought. Should Antonio raise? That's always a consideration. The problem is that Trickett has essentially announced he has a good made hand or a draw. If he has a good made hand, you just do not want to raise into that. And you're getting reasonable odds to call, so you don't want to mess that up either. So for that reason, that's just a great call. Turn is an 8. So 7-5 gets there, which is certainly a hand Antonio could have. Trickett's going to put in another bet.
30K in that bitch. Woo!
He does go 15K, which is nice. So hand folds his Jack 9 finally. And now it's back to Antonio.
Ooh.
Should he fold, call, raise to 38,000, or raise to 52,000?
Sheesh.
Shit is expensive as hell. Ginger says I'm just a baby. Thank you, Ginger. You make me feel better.
$15,000. Anybody coming along?
I'm starting to get a baby's hairline here.
Says raise. What size?
Cyrus is still calling.
In like 3-1.
Fold from Huffy. Big Daddy going 38. He's not scared. He's pushing this sucker. Sheesh.
Shit, going 38. Ugh. I'm in love with it. Then the price he's getting behind, is he ever doing anything but calling? And then we're going to have to just jam it in on a river?
Cyrus says, let's go, chat pros. Call. Mendo says, bye-bye. I'm gone. It's too much.
You're out of there at this point?
You win.
Yeah.
Calling hit, says Ginger. She's relying on that toe equity. Uh-oh.
I mean, the nice thing is we are in position. But what are we going to do on rivers? We're going to call here and turn our hand into a bluff almost every time if he checks back river.
Let me think about it. We are getting 3-1.
Getting close to my annual salary in this spot.
Cash King, Bink a Duck.
I mean, getting 3-1 here in position again. How are we folding, dude?
3-1 is a problem.
Yeah. Folding feels like insane, dude. This dude. 52K.
The problem too is like the 7 freezes action now, so we need the duck. We need a 2.
I mean, the nice thing is we're blocking 5-7.
True.
You know, we are blocking the nuts. So having a nut blocker here wouldn't be terrible to turn our hand into a bluff. It would make a lot of sense to have it in our range. Less likely he actually has the nuts. We can have sets as well in some cases. But yeah, I think maybe I would probably maybe just call here and then decide what to do on river, depending on how you play. Good runouts for my range. For instance, yeah, I can turn my hand into a bluff sometime if he checks.
8 times 2, 16%. It's so close, right? If the 7 out is clean, which it probably is, right? Then we have 8 outs twice, right? So we're roughly 16%. 3-1, we're about 15%. It's close.
So Ryan
plus the
says,
implied odds. Except I don't know what implied odds we're getting if it doesn't have specifically 2 pair like Trickett does here, right? Because what are the implied odds? When a 7 comes, it freezes the action. We don't get those implied odds anymore.
But how many 7s does he have in his range? You know, we have more.
No, what I'm saying is like if he's got like Ace Jack, let's say, something like that, and a 7 comes, then it freezes it. There's a 4-liner out there. We're not going to get those implied odds that he's referring to.
Because we're just not going to get paid anymore.
If we go crazy, right?
Yeah, because he's probably going to just check rivers,
Right.
which is going to lead us to give us opportunities to bluff river as well if he ever does check. But the question is, like, we probably have more 5-7s when we call here than he does. Ryan says Caller 52K, he likes 52K more. Raising here reps sets, and we have more 5-7 than 3-5 when we actually call, which is a good point.
Very good.
Also, Trinket has enough 2 pairs that will be very unhappy versus the raise, and we can also bluff on 5x. Ooh. Yeah, I like having the blocker to 5-7 here a lot.
The bluff
Folding
on
is the
5x
only
is
true
sexy.
mistake. The only true mistake here is folding a draw in position, getting 3-1. Like, folding feels gross.
Yeah, it's because we're getting good odds.
Dude, and we're in position, and we have
I wish you would have bet like.
blocker, and we have a blocker to the nuts.
I wish you would have bet like 25. It'd have been easier. Right? 25 be easily
Yeah.
fold.
Yeah,
All right, I
and
think
we
he
can
got me on the
use
call.
that.
Raise is
He's doing
interesting too. The raise is definitely interesting.
We can also bluff on 5x and backdoor spades as well.
Sexy.
Okay. All right, you talked me into it.
You're raising?
Ryan wants to raise, but I don't know if Jonathan's. I'm just trying to think in the moment. I would personally just call here more than I would raise, but I still got some nitty tendencies to work out. I would never fold getting 3-1, but
don't be fooled by like Ryan's calm and easygoing nature. He's scary.
Ray's like, what the fuck?
Such a nice, sweet guy, but he's scary as hell at the table.
Dude, if you have Jack 6 in this spot and you get raised, you feel sick to your fucking stomach.
3-1 isn't good enough though. It's super close. If we throw in any implied odds, we can easily use that as an excuse to push us over. Plus, if you go the Ryan route and go raise and bluff rivers on those good bluff cards, then you have a lot of good implied odds, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would call and make the play on the river and probably still working on this little play here, but I'm calling. 38.
And I don't think Jonathan's going to go as I don't know what the word is. In this quiz, I don't know that Jonathan's going to raise here like Ryan would. I think the styles are much different. But I think, Ryan's line definitely sexy. It makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It's scary as hell.
I clicked the button and I know it happened, and I don't want to spoil you.
Cheat! You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
Oh shit! My bad.
All right, cool. So then I'm gonna go call, and we'll see what happens.
All right, cool. You do that.
Whoa, that made me. Whoa. Now I'm leveling. Wait a minute. You do that. Wait a minute here.
No, you're good. No reading. No, you're not a poker player. You're not reading. Stop reading the situation and click the call button.
He said, you do that. Now I'm second guessing. We're on a points level here, guys. What do you think, Army? We got an added tell from sixes on that one.
Dude. You know people are multi-streaming.
We got an added fucking tell on sixes. All right, I'll call.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Well, we did go with the raise. Sick. Nice.
Esfandiari can
You guys are animals. I love it.
between calling and raising, depending on what he thinks about Tricket's strategy. I know Tricket is good, solid player, maybe a little bit too loose, a little bit too aggressive, but certainly
learning something today.
Not too insane. So I don't think he's the best candidate to just run maniacal bluffs against, because he's just going to have some best made hands some portion of the time.
He's good.
So calling is fine, right? We're getting almost the right odds. We can expect to have some implied odds, especially if the 2 comes. The problem is if the 7 comes, we may not get paid anymore, because a 5 makes a straight, any 5. And obviously, Esfandiari could have a lot of random 5s with 6-5, 5-4, 8-5, 7-5 that's already there, etc. So this is a spot where I'm not really sure what you want to do. I think it's fine to raise and then fold if you get jammed. The problem is that if you do raise to either 32,000 or 38,000 or 52,000, that's going to give Tricket a reasonable shove stack, because he only started with roughly 200k. So you have to be careful raising against players who will just jam it all in with their decently strong made hands. That said, this is a spot where Esfandiari has a blocker to the nuts, which is nice. Also, he could just have the nuts. And I don't think he really wants to be raising this turn with more than straights and maybe some sets, just because Tricket could just have the 7-5, right? So you have to be relatively cautious raising too wide in the spot. However, I do think the 5-3 is a pretty good hand to go for it. So now, Esfandiari rather quickly puts in the raise. That might be a bit of a tell. He does raise to 44,000. And I think I would have gone just a little bit smaller here, because if you do have 7-5, you don't care if your opponent calls, right? And if you do have a draw or a bluff, you want to make it as cheap as you realistically can. Also notice again, Trickett has 150, 70, 80k. If you start making it 45 or 52, now you may just induce a jam when Trickett decides to bluff it off, or not bluff it, when he decides to not gonna call it overvalue because it's not really overvaluing, but when he does have a hand like 2-pair or a set, he may just rip it in, and that's just not what you want at all. So I think if you raise small, you're going to get more calls, which is fine because we have an obvious hand to bluff the river with. So anyway, this is a spot where I think given Trickett's stack, we would much prefer to raise on the smaller side, recognizing we're going to get called a lot on the turn, setting up a river bluff. When you make it 44k though, or 52k, and you get called, now Trickett's range is just really, really strong. If his range is really, really strong, then we're going to have to bluff this hand, but you certainly don't love it. So, should Trickett's jam? And I think he probably should not. This is a nasty spot where you lose to the nut hands, right? And there are sets available. Obviously, you block them a decent amount. And there is the clear 7-5 available, which Antonio could have. But there's also a whole lot of bluffs available. So, definitely a dicey spot for Trickett, but you just can't fold too often against players who enjoy bluffing, as Sfondiari does. All right, pot's gigantic. River is the ace. Now, the ace may look like a scary card, but really it's not.
Shouldn't be too many
because
aces.
you wouldn't think Sfondiari is raising with too many hands like ace-4, ace-6, ace-jack, etc. on the turn, just because those hands are easy calls or folds for the most part. So sometimes the ace is scary, but this time it is not. And Trickett checks. So now Sfondiari has to figure out what he's going to do. Should he check, bet 40,000, bet 80,000, or bet 120,000?
Oh, all right, cool. Well, well, boys, this is it. What are you guys doing in this spot? Anybody giving up? Damn, everybody just.
He's not scared. That is like 2/3 of what you have left, right? If I heard the stacks correctly. 120k for Cyrus, bombs away.
That's probably more polarizing than 80k. Probably looks more like value. So we polarize our range more when we just jam, whereas if we go 80k, it looks very. I mean, it's still a very big polarizing bet, but I think it looks have it more on the side of value in this spot, and it accomplishes the same thing. I don't know. I was thinking 120, but I'm trying to think about 80. We get to save a new car behind. A nice ass car behind.
Nice ass car.
Get to save.
That's like the nice Tesla and like fucking bomb Mercedes. Like, that's a good car.
Could just leave that behind, you know.
Fat Audi.
Buy a house or something real quick with the money we don't bluff off. All right, let's see what chat's saying. Now we bet big, 120. We got bet the size of the pot. I bet the size of the pot. Ryan's going 60 to 80. Fish is at 120. Good morning, James.
80K for Ginger.
80, definitely 80 to 120. Jamming looks obvious.
Yeah, I got a handful of 180s too. After to win, agreed. This is why Mendo plays tournaments, not cash. Agreed. But even in a tournament, I think this is a similar line we would take. Mendo. But I agree.
I think 80 now. I'm checking. A minute. Oven says, Finster says, pay mom's mortgage or bet. Right. Pay off mom's crib or
mom's mortgage or bet. But we can't let that. We can't get that affect us, right? Like,
I mean, we
realize this is a shit ton of money, but it's all relative, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of these two for me.
I mean, I know in game I'm probably gonna go a lot of 120 in this spot, like on the stakes that I play, but I'm kind of leaning toward 80 against Trickett.
Yeah, the whole meta game, and I don't know, not meta game. I just feel like it's a little less polarizing, and maybe looks a hair more like we want to call in value. Although both sizes are very big,
That's why
but
Full Pre is right.
that's why full free. I love the raise on the turn. What an animal!
Yeah, that was something that was an eye opener for me. I would never take that line, and it made a ton of sense. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sick
blocking
that
the
both Jonathan and Ryan, world class. That's why they're world class, guys.
Yeah, you get in this spot, you got to man up with the 5-3 and bluff the shit. So I'm going 80 ball.
Me too. Most of the army going 82. A couple of 120s in there. Matt says, yo, 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 shove it all in. Didn't see anything. K-Man said, yo, 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 YOLO.
All right, let's do it.
All right, cool.
Boom.
This is definitely a spot where I think Esfandiari has to go for it. He should be bluffing with basically every hand that has a 5 or 7 in it that is not a pair, which really is not many if you think about it. So for that reason, he just has an obvious bluff hand. He has no showdown value. You don't love it, but I think you just have to go for it. So pot's 120K. I think I like a bet of about 80K. That's a size that I think makes logical sense to bet with the nuts, which is essentially what Esfandiari is representing with this bet. In cash games, you aren't necessarily quite as inclined with stacking your opponents as you are in tournaments. So, like right here, we see Trickett has, what do we determine? He has 100, call it 150K behind. In a tournament, you may just rip it in to put your opponent's tournament life at stake. In cash games, you don't really put your opponent's stack life at stakes because they can just get more money, presumably. Now, sometimes people will be playing very, very under-rolled, right? Because they're just taking a shot in the game. But that's not Trickett. Trickett plays gigantic stakes, so you can't really pressure him with tournament life implications or stack preservation implications or anything like that. So I don't think you need to go all in. I think a bet of about 80K is just going to be better than a bigger size because we don't have a ton of bluffs in our range and because we're trying to get a good but non-nut hand to fold, like King Jack, Pocket Queens. Maybe even a hand like Ace Jack would fold. A hand like Jack 6. Obviously, we're not going to be against hands like Queens or Kings all that often, but I do think we're going to be against a hand like King Jack, Queen Jack, Jack 10, Jack 8, Jack 6, 6-4, a ton. Maybe even a hand like 8-7. And those hands, I think, will at least consider folding to an 80K bet. You don't want to go for a tiny bet, because if you bet tiny, then you're just going to get called a ton. And I say tiny, 40K is a lot of money. It's also even a lot of big blinds, like 20 big blinds. But I guess 10 big blinds in this game because there was a straddle. That said, I think that no one here is thinking, oh, 40K, that's a lot of money. They're always just thinking in terms of pot size. So Esfandiari does line up the bluff, and he does go 68,000, which I think is a solid size. I might go a little bit bigger because I don't think we're going to see two pairs fold in this.
What's up, man? It's good to be back, man.
Often. But it's a good size to make because it looks like you're trying to get called with the 7-5, right? It's not egregiously big like an overbet or a pot size bet, but it's also not so small to the point that you're going to be getting called very frequently. And to be fair, maybe this is why Antonio presumably can profit playing hands like 7-5 or 5-3 offsuit. I didn't convince myself he had the 7-5. Perhaps this is how he can convince himself that he has the 5-3 offsuit and play it profitably on the button, because perhaps he just navigates to spots like this very frequently. He just wins these pots way more often than not. And, if you can get to the river and just make your opponent fold almost everything by the river a large chunk of the time, then that is quite a powerful strategy. High risk strategy, high variance strategy, but this time you get Sam Trickett and fold.
You beast, dude.
Got him.
God damn, dude.
This was
That's
a fun hand.
so
I actually learned a little
nasty.
bit. Let's look at him.
Woo! I love that. That was good. Took a while, but that was damn good. Well worth every penny. 185K rake. And a bet size as well. That's why we don't want to go 120. I think it becomes
Polarizing.
Way too polarizing. But you remember that, Pinster? I've never seen that. Yeah, that was good as hell. All right.
That was a fun hand. I learned a lot actually on that hand. That was a good one.
Yeah, same here. All right, we got one more, maybe about a half now. All right, cool. All right, you want to pick one, or was it? Did you pick that, or did I pick
You
that
picked it
one?
because it was cash game. Toe didn't pick that.
Right. I just wanted to see a cash.
Did pretty good
one.
on the score though, so that's always good.
Right.
I'm gonna scroll way down. Let's
The
go.
masseuse tries to see the cards at the end.
Let's do some Jonathan here. What about 467?
$467 is Evan. Oh, 467. Oh, 4. I went to 767. All right.
I went way down to try to find some.
Woo.
Sometimes you play the player. That's true. You play the spot, right? It's playing the spot on that one. Made a lot of sense there, Big Daddy.
All right, Ryan. Take care, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate
Have a good
you
weekend.
coming along, man. Thanks for the insight. It was really, really fun.
Yep. Good luck tomorrow as well, my dude. All right. This 5K with the ace jack suited.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Here we have the beautiful ace jack of clubs. It's probably not going to go too well for me. We are very deep in a $5,000 buy-in tournament. I believe there's something like 12 players left. Folds around to the cutoff, who is a tight, aggressive player. This player has done nothing too insane, but certainly is opening reasonably. And we have ace jack of clubs on the button. Should we fold, call, re-raise to 100,000, or go all in?
What y'all think? 23 blinds we shove? Question mark. I don't know, Matt. Do you know? What? You see a small 3-bet? What size is your small 3-bet there? 100K?
So I've got every option in the chat. I got shove, 3-bet, call, razor all in for sure.
Huffy going 300. Huffy going 100K. Matt covering his ass. Talking about a jub. Talking about a 3-bet. He's not sure. Mickey going 100K.
Oh God. Razor all in for sure. He's tight.
Big
23
Daddy
or too much to
shoving.
get in. Whoa.
I mean, he's a normal type player. He's not like that nitty guy we saw in Assassin on his quiz.
Yeah, this is normal. He said he's opening up a reasonable range.
Cyrus said go 135. So almost a 30-year stack there, Cyrus. Ginger shoving.
Wait a minute. We have position. I think 3-bet for like 100K, still giving yourself some options. I am seeing a lot of interesting options. I would never make this 100K ever. Never.
Never.
No. And I'm just jamming here. I'm just broke. Guys opening reasonably. The one concerning thing he is opening into 3 reshove stack, but with 12 players left, him having a chip advantage, he's going to be still opening wide enough to apply some pressure here. This is good enough. And if you do just call here, it's simply to call one of these players behind the squeeze. So if I do call here, and one of these players jam, I'm snapping, if he folds.
Sure.
I guess in a situation like this, for me, it's go all in, a majority of the time, and then call only to induce one of these guys to maybe squeeze so I can then never fold.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce said it's all in the reshove stack. I agree. Like, if I had 40 bigs, I'm probably flatting. But on 23, I'm just always getting it in versus the cutoff open. Like, it's easy money. You got to just take it down so often.
Right. Yeah, for me, I'm just jamming.
That says in a $5 online, he shoves. In a 5K WSP, 3-bets. Turning live is important gear. I mean, not really.
Somebody says, we have position, we have a pretty good hand. Why not 3-bet to 100K and see the flop? Are you folding to the 4-bet? Are you inducing? If we miss the flop, or are we going to be just c-betting off that stack when we put in 100K?
Yeah, and then you go from 20 bigs down to 14 real quick, 13 real quick.
I don't know. Is this hand just high enough equity, and he's opening wide enough in this position? And this hand just blocks enough. It plays well enough. If we do flat, like I said, we just call here.
Matt's race folding. Yeah, I'm not. I'm jamming this for sure. I'm fist pump. Call your mama in the room. Happy dance. Stand up, pull my pants down, throw my shoe at the dealer, all day.
Yeah. I'm not really, I'm call or go all in, but let's see what Jonathan does.
All right.
in this scenario, I think going all in is by far the best play. If we do think the opponent is legitimately a super nit, like who hasn't put a chip in the pot, maybe we can call. But I'm certainly not trying to re-raise to 100,000 and then fold, or just open fold pre-flop. I mean, really, there's no getting away from this hand. A lot of people, again, deep in tournaments think, man, I've been grinding here for multiple days. I really don't want to go broke with only ace-jack suited. And that mindset is a really good way to take a lot of min cashes, essentially. You're almost never going to win the tournament if you're always trying to fold out decently big hands. And so right here, I think we just have a pretty easy all-in. We pop it in there. The opponent does call with ace, king of spades. And, well, we're out of the tournament. So, I know a lot of people don't like situations that look like relatively standard pre-flop shoves, and I do think this is a relatively standard pre-flop shove. That said, I think it's a pre-flop shove a lot of people get really nervous about making when they are very, very deep in the tournament. And I don't want you all to be nervous about making these shoves. You have to understand that we are trying to win the tournament. With our 20 big blind stack, this is an incredibly profitable spot. When you do run into the top of your opponent's range, well, you're going to lose. And you have to be okay with busting the poker tournament, because at the end of the day, only one person's going to win the poker tournament, and if you sit there and blind out, it's certainly not going to be you.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I think we need a little talk
Straight to
about
the
this
point.
because this is an interesting hand. It seemed really standard and simple for you, me, and Jonathan, but for a lot of these guys that were doing other options. You know, Matt made the comment of, got it, just raise and pray, or jam and pray, and I was trying to say this in the chat while they were talking, like, we're not really jamming and praying. We jam and take this down like 80-some% of the time and just pick up a bunch of chips with 12 left and without showdown. And we just, it's, definitely the way to go.
I mean, sometimes we
says,
suck
we're right
out.
here, Matt. Don't listen to
Sometimes we win the
coaches.
flip. There's just...
And he says he's not playing scared,
Things that
playing
can happen,
profitably, as I noted above. But the mistake there is that the jam is by far the most profitable move. We can play this nice hand miser, and you can see how profitable the jam is, Matt. It is going to be
Is that our
massively
Matt?
profitable. Yeah, massively profitable.
Come on, Matt. All right. Easy one. We got time for more then.
That was a super easy one.
case.
I mean,
That
it's
was-
funny.
yeah, that was
As easy
snap.
as it was, it sparked a lot of conversation, which was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm snap jamming, good game, shaking hands, hugging moms,
Yep.
walking off in 11th place.
I already threw my shoe at the
bear.
beer.
Yeah,
So,
right, yeah. All right, I'm looking for another Jonathan.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't have to be Jonathan at this point.
Yeah,
We mixed it up a bit.
cool. But I'm thinking I'm gonna take a Jonathan one. 1K with deuces. Deuces never loses.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. All right, let's play 568.
We're going
30
way.
bigs,
We're going
bigs.
deep.
Yeah, we're just, we're gonna mix it up a little bit. There's so much good content in here.
Oh, we already did 568 on mine with queens.
Oh no, yeah, we can do another one. Something in this area.
You got to go lower than 530.
Oh,
We did all of those.
Jack 510. Jack 10 suited. Very pretty hand.
We got it. We got it. Ready?
Yep.
Here we have Jack 10 suited, still in the $10,000 buy-in six-handed tournament. Under the gun with 33 big blinds opens, deep stack calls, and it's on me in the big blind. Should we fold, call, re-raise to 100,000, or re-raise to 150,000?
Let me mess with the volume here so I'm going to get blasted.
There we go.
Show the spot here. All right, what are we doing here? Call says Matt. Call says Huffy. Flat Out Ace says Cyrus. Matt says, okay, redemption time. He's coming after it. Good. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, this is a pretty easy decision. We got nothing but calls in my chat. Not kind of agree. We just play this hand. Squeezing here and then having one of these, especially the 30 big blind under the gun stack, just rejam on you. But this is a six-handed tournament. Is it? Is that what he said?
6-max.
Is it a 6-max?
Yeah.
10K 6-max. What a sweet tournament, man.
Mm.
All right, let's call.
Yeah, I'm calling too.
All right. It's just snap.
Suited is great. Do not be afraid to call and see the flop. really, there are no other good options here. I mean, this is a hand that you should basically see a flop with for an initial raise almost every time. And we're certainly going to do it here. So let's call. This is also a hand we're going to be checking most flops with, although you may occasionally want to lead 9-8-7 or 9-8-4 or something like that. But we're going to be checking on a lot of flops. And, you know, this may look coordinated enough, but, well, what do you think? Should we check, bet 35,000, bet 75,000, or bet 105,000?
All right, anyone leading into the under the gun raiser and then the call? Dark says 35K. Everybody's checking, but out of position we check. Yep. I'm never dunk betting this.
Check. Yeah. Check to
Yeah.
the aggressor.
Right, Buckeyes, I got you. Yeah, I mean, guys, we don't. We
Check
did get a 35K here. I think we just check here. Versus under the gun range. And the call, they're going to have better Jack X. Are we betting for value? And when we do bet and get called, how confident are we to double barrel? Like, how does the rest of the hand play out? So I think we just check here.
Yeah, agreed. And we want to have some strength in our check back range. I think this is a good category for that.
Yeah.
So I'm checking.
All right. Let's do it.
This is very, very, very close between checking and leading. Given we are very deep in the tournaments, I think we should be just a little bit more inclined to check because, again, we really don't want to play for stacks ever, especially with a marginal hand. So I'm a pretty big fan of checking. Yes, we're going to get outdrawn sometimes by checking, but checking will lead to us being in way worse spots going forward. Also, well, I say it's going to be worse spots. I mean, when you bet and everyone folds, clearly that's like nice and easy. But if we bet and get called or bet and get raised, we have no clue if we're ahead or behind. And whereas when we check, we keep our opponents in with all of their bluffs. It is very, very, very valuable to keep your opponents in with their bluffs. So I'm going to be checking here. If we are going to bet, I think 75,000 is fine. Probably way better than 105 and a pretty good amount better than 35 because on these very draw-heavy boards, it's very likely whatever the opponents have has some amount of equity, so you don't really care if they fold. Like, say they have king, queen, and they fold, it's fine. Say they have a gut shot and they fold, it's fine. Obviously, they're not going to fold a flush draw, but if they do call it for 75,000, that's clearly way better than 35, right? So you're just getting more money in head. If we do lead and face aggression, it becomes pretty rough. Say we do bet 75,000, if we get jammed on, I don't think we're supposed to fold, and that's pretty rough, right? So I like checking. Check around to the cutoff, who bets 40,000. Should we fold, call, raise to 110,000, or go all in?
Guys, like, anybody betting the kid check raising here? Call, flat.
All right. So here we are. Here. Good question. Anybody check raising? Anybody check raising? Cyrus is calling. Mendo's calling. Easy call for Big Daddy. Somebody asked me, who was it?
Brian Daddy says,
Biggie says, we're checking because we're out of position, right? That is part of the reason why we're checking. We also want to have some top pair in our check back range. And so generally speaking, if you have a decent kicker, Queen Jack, King Jack, Ace Jack, we should be betting, let's say we're in position, betting for value. When you have 10 kickers and lowers, a lot of times you're going to value time yourself. And like I said, you want to have some top pairs in your check back range because if you're always betting all of your jacks and you check a flop, then people who are astute are going to realize that you never have a jack and then just own you. So it's good to have balance there. That's why.
No, the guy in the back seat, like somebody said, we are technically floating by now if we call. No, we have a marginal made hand. Could be the best hand, could be dominated. The player in the back seat can just be using some hands to stab when we both check, especially the under the gun raiser. So yeah, I think we have to protect our hand. We can definitely still call and have the best hand sometimes, but it's obviously going to be pretty tough to show down when he starts betting multiple streets because he has a lot of better jack X. So, but I do think we have to at least call here.
Matt says he's raise folding. Says if we raise and fold to a jam, he likes it. Maybe get a better jack to fold. We don't block flush, which is good. You're never getting a better jack to fold. People just aren't folding.
We get better to call and worse to fold.
Yeah,
it's better to call and worse to fold. Like, no, he's still gonna. No. He could have worse hands here.
Yep.
Easy call. Let's do
Throwing
it.
away your equity, says Red Dad agreed.
Snap.
And he says, don't call and don't turn your decent hand into a bluff. 100% agree. This is a marginal made hand. We need to get the showdown.
Turn it into a bluff by check raising and then folding if he comes over the top and we set a third of our stack on fire or something. Yeah, nah, I'm good on that.
Yep. Matt, go to the toe commandments. Damn you. All right. He knows what that means. So we're calling. Everyone's calling. Yeah?
Yeah, we call.
All right, let's do it.
Go.
You may be surprised to find out here that I actually don't hate raising or going all in. I think going all in is probably the second best choice, just because the board is so incredibly draw heavy. When we do jam, we're effectively resigning to the fact that when we are against ace jack, king jack, or queen jack, we're just going to go broke. You can generally discount aces, kings, queens, and jacks from the cutoffs range, so we could have 8s and 5s too, but there really aren't a ton of hands that we lose to, and whenever our opponent has plenty of equity against us. And picking up this pot, 139k is clearly very valuable, so I think going all in is actually reasonable. That said, again, I think our hands are just a little bit too weak. If we had king jack, I'd be way more inclined to shove.
Definitely.
But with jack 10, I'm going to call and see what develops. In terms of 3 of clubs, we check. Opponent checks, which is great. We have a hand we want to get to the showdown with. And then we river to pair. Should we check, bet 60,000, bet 120,000, or bet 180,000?
So Red Dad says he's really surprised. Red Dad said he's really surprised that he would consider going all in. The reason why, Red Dad, is because we only have 35 bigs. But if I was scoring this quiz, I would probably give the raise or the jam like a 6, maybe.
But he's not going to be bad, I don't think. Especially with the guy in the backseat, like we say, he's just going to have times he's just stabbing, you know, or something like that. So, yeah, I don't hate it, especially being this shallow. But, I mean, I strongly prefer a call over that for me. And that's why it scored better, yeah.
Hubby's betting 120K here. West Face, what's up, my man? Fist bumps. How you doing, buddy?
All right.
What are you guys doing out there? It's quiet.
We got 180, we got
value.
120, 120, 116K. He calls so many one-pair hands.
20 for
Somebody
value.
saying, the club fucks, as Tark says.
Guys.
Is he going to call a bet? All right, let me see. I'm going to let a few more bets get in there. I know what I'm doing here. What is your chat saying? 120s?
120s. Cyrus has got 60. He's going a little less.
So
If we bet, are we bet folding? That is a very good question.
I know what I'm betting here.
If you bet, are you folding?
I mean, we're going to be betting the nuts when we call in this range. We have so many flush draws, 2 pairs, set.
When he comes over the top, he never
As
has
well.
ace jack or king jack. I think I'm bet folding. I'm folding, man, Dad.
Well, I mean, as played, I would expect him to continue betting for value with all his made flushers and some Jack X to for value and for protection. So when he checks back the turn, he did check back the turn, correct?
He did.
Or did he? So when he checks back the turn, I think he's going to have some under pairs here. And a lot of hands he can't call a massive size bet with because the flush draw does get there, and I would expect him to bet that for value. And our hand just doesn't look like a bluff too much when that gets there. So I'd probably go a small sizing and try to get called by all one pair hands.
Interesting.
So I'd probably go 60K and try to get called by all one pair hands.
I think I would bet fold 120 myself. Trying to get called by single jacks because it looks like we're, trying to take this down, and it's hard for a single pair jack to fold. I think all the other under pairs are just folding anyway.
I would just expect those single pair jacks to bet turn.
I wouldn't check raise, Mendo, because if we check raise, what's worse that's calling? We're only going to get called by the flush. And I think a lot of the
anything,
Jack X hands just fold.
Yeah, I think
Check
I wonder
raise
if I'm
out.
missing out on value there by not using a slightly bigger size. Maybe in game I would go like 75, 78 or something like that. But given the circumstance, I think I'm just going to go 60 here. Try to get all his single pair hands to call. I would expect him to be betting his value hands and some Jack X for 2 on the turn.
We're taking his bluffs away by betting. I just don't think when he checks the turn map that he's going to be bluffing that often. And so now we got to try and get value from single jacks, and
Yeah,
maybe a river
60K.
10, maybe. And I think a lot of that's calling for the $1.20 myself. This is where we part ways, my man. You going 60?
All right. I am.
I'm putting the perfect score on the line.
Me too.
Yeet.
Yeah,
Alright,
we
go.
got so many 120s in my chat. The Sixes Mafia is going 120 as well. Most is going 120, but I think 60 when he
Take a
checks
single
back the
jack and
turn.
bet river here, sure, but they're not going to bet as big as we are, Matt, so we lose value.
All right, James. We're going down together. Boomer poker, baby. Let's do it. Boomer poker. All right, let's go.
Ooh.
Well, our hand is clearly
Surprising.
good, right? We're certainly not worried about being beat at this point. So the only question is, should we check or bet? And if we bet, what are we trying to get called by? Well, if we bet, we're trying to get called by a marginal made hand, mainly a 10 or an 8. Or, you know, our opponent could have king jack, queen jack, ace jack. But we block that a little bit, so those are kind of unlikely. So most likely we're trying to get called by, you know, we know, like queen 10 that bet the flop. You think 10-9 would bet the turn. Our opponent could be getting tricky with a flush, which would be a real bummer. It's kind of hard to find a whole lot that can call us, right? So whenever you're thinking about this, you always want to ask, all right, since I'm trying to get called by very marginal stuff, how much can those hands call? And usually when the board runs out pretty rough, like this, you can't really get called for a whole lot. So on this river, you want to have a betting range that you use a small sizing with and a betting range you want to use a big sizing with. And this is definitely a hand that would normally fit into a small sizing range. Even though it is 2-pair, I understand that 2-pair is great. But in this exact instance, it's not actually that strong because we lose to the flush, we lose to random straights like queen 9 and 9-7. I guess some flushes may check behind on the turn to be tricky. Maybe our opponent even gets tricky with a set of 5s or something like that. So I'm not 100% convinced we have the best hand here. So if we are going to bet, we need to bet small. But then that opens us up to getting raised. And if our opponent does have a deeper stack than us in the tournament, that's kind of likely. So a lot of nasty things can happen if we bet. And like I mentioned at the top of this video, or top of this quiz, we very often want to minimize the chance of us going broke on any individual hand. So either we're going to check or bet small. I think as you bet bigger and bigger, the play just gets worse and worse. So I check, and now the opponent bets $125,000. Should we fold, call, or go all in?
Yeah, right, that good point about not wanting to bet fold such a strong hand. Definitely very fair. Very, very fair.
Somebody says jam. I'm folding if it's ACR. Somebody says jam. Somebody says call as played. Hand is under repped. Looked weak.
Only calls in my chat. I mean, if we jam here, we're jamming as a bluff. Why are we jamming here? Let's get on that route.
He says, I hate this. I love this because we've under-repped our hand. He probably thinks we're going to be betting a flush a lot. He's going to be turning a lot of his hands into a bluff at this point that he doesn't think can showdown and win. I'm just snapping. I mean, at this point.
Yeah, it's a snap call. We don't jam, right? Only flushes call.
Oh, hell no, I'm not jamming.
Definitely not jamming.
We worst hands we get to call.
Yeah.
I mean, we check call, check river. How are we checking 2 check fold top pair, 2-pair when he can have bluffs in his hand? Like,
our hand's too strong.
yeah, it's just a snap.
It was kind of like he really gave us the answer. He said our hand was made marginal, and so we have to get the showdown value and call. It's too good to fold. It's too bad to raise.
Yeah, so the hand was Aztec. Quick replay under the gun. We're playing a 6-handed tournament. First in opened, cutoff calls. We call in a big blind. He went 27K. Check, cutoff bets, 40K. We call, check, turn, check river, he bombs, and we snap. Yeah.
How many points was your small bet?
9.
Nice.
What'd you get for the big one? Right. It's going to come down to this. You're going to deviate and shove, right?
Me?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Hells no.
All right.
I'm gonna concede and call and say you're a better man than I, Mr. Sixes. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
All right, we're calling.
All right.
check with a very strong hand, like we have here, certainly the plan is not to fold.
Nah, we
I
can't
do
roll.
understand we lose to a lot of hands. I do understand that calling is going to
Go ahead, go play. I'll be up in a minute.
diminish our stack. But
You can see
think about it like
yourself.
this. Our opponent bet 10 big blinds, right? We're facing a 10 big blind bet.
I even
two pair.
control my
We're getting
stuff.
pretty good pot odds. This is just not a spot where you can do anything besides
Yeah.
call. Definitely
All right, go
enough
play.
raise. Some people think, oh my god, 2 pair, it's the nuts. I'm check shoving all in. If you check shove all in here, you're only going to get called when you're beat, and that would be very, very, very bad. So,
That's it, gone right now.
folding is obviously out of the question too. Although we do lose to a lot of stuff, this is one of these spots where a lot of recreational players their opponent shows 9-7 or something like that. But in reality, you have to understand by checking, you have induced bluffs. By playing
You
this
have
so
induced
cautiously,
bluff.
you've also
Yep.
made it to where you can't go broke when you have a pretty good hand, which is also nice. So in exchange for maximizing value, you
Bang, bang.
make it to where you never get bluffed, and you don't have to play for all your money with what actually is. I like calling. Wow, the nut flush for a horribly played hand by the opponent. This is a spot where the opponent should definitely bet the turn. Should definitely. I mean, notice if he just bets the turn.
Jesus. Thank God we didn't. Who said shove on the river? Dead.
We check.
Dead.
If he bets 30,000, obviously I'm going to call. Pot would go up to, we'll call it 320,000. Then on the river, I'm only going to have 300 left. He's going to check. I'm going to check. He's going to jam. I'm going to call, and I'm going to be out. So sometimes you get rewarded. I mean, I say we get rewarded. Maybe some people think, oh, you should just fold to the turn bet. That would be really, really nitty. We're not.
Oh, he did bet turn.
Trying to win the poker tournament. So this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he checked turn.
As it could. If I did bet the river and got raised, it would have been a really nasty spot. I don't know what I would do. It's probably one of those game time decisions, but it's probably just a fold. As your opponent is more loose, more aggressive, more willing to turn random ace of clubs or king of clubs into a bluff, you should be more inclined to call. For sure, I'm glad I checked because it definitely made life easy and also ensured we could easily see a showdown.
Whee! That was good.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was real good. It was real good.
So he did bet the turn. Was I wrong?
I think he was talking in hypotheticals.
Oh, he was talking like hypothetically. If he did, yeah. Okay, I see.
He checked the turn. That's why I said it was played terribly.
Right. It's 2:00. My kids are getting restless. I got to get them out of these Christmas pajamas.
Cool.
And
This was a fun one, man,
fight.
because I bombed the last 2 sessions, and this one I got a shitload of 10s, so I'm feeling pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was a
so
good
in the
session.
villain spot, we bet the turn flush. Absolutely, Matt. Bet the nuts, Matt.
Bet the
look at the
nuts.
12 commandments, Matt. Bet the nuts.
Always, bet the nuts there. I would be betting the turn in this situation and then jamming the river.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Thank you guys for kicking it again. Don't take that upstairs. Don't put that down, boy. All right, cool. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Who won today? I wasn't even keeping track. I'll run the giveaway.
I don't know that, but it was so close. I'm not 100% sure myself. I know you beat me on this one.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I was just kind of doing them.
All right. Would be uber small then. Value river 2. Got it. I mean, it would be crazy small. And I would probably go 60% on the turn ish, Matt, and then jam river. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Oh, if you're asking me. Have a great day as well, my guys. I'm going to take tonight off and get ready for a massive grind tomorrow. As you can hear, my kids are screaming in the background. So
you want me to run the giveaway so you can go smack them around?
Please do. It's getting wild. My son took a huge Nerf gun upstairs and he's chasing my daughter around with it. And I have to go take it from him before shit gets out of control.
You got to show who's boss around.
Jeez, dude, these cats. 6 and 7-year-olds. You hear that? All right, man. I got you, Toe. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna kick that raid over. I really appreciate the support. Make sure to give my man a follow and exclamation point PC to get those free quizzes, so you guys can participate with us. Do them in your free time, charts, and check out the content, man. I think it's great. They're always adding new stuff, and you won't be disappointed. But we appreciate your support once again, boys. And I'm out of here. Enjoy yourself, guys.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. It was good to hang out with you again.
Yeah, you too, buddy. I'll be in touch, man.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We'll wait for that host to come, getting the giveaway set up. What are you gonna get my chat? Like they like beer. Well played, Matt. Well played. A little rusty. That's okay, Matt. But these are toe commandments. You should have these like the back of your hand. You got to stop the Skype. Get on Discord. I'm not sure that's going to be any different for us in the truth, because it's the difference is that whether I use Skype or I use Discord, they're both using computer sound, and OBS has one volume for computer sound. And while we have all the sound from Windows pumped all the way up, because it's competing through OBS, that's the problem. We haven't figured that one out. Thank you for the raid, Sixes. 100 biddies from Mickey. Thank you for that, man. All right, guys, let's get this giveaway going. It's going to be 0 ticket cost, so all of y'all can get in there. 100 ticket max, exclamation point ticket, space max for you to get in a $10 giveaway. It can either be on ACR or Skype. If you win, make sure you whisper me either your ACR screen name or your Skype email address so that I can send you yo cheddar. If you enjoyed this too, exclamation point PC in the chat. I'm going to do it right now. Bang. You get 20 free quizzes, a bunch of homeworks, and charts up to 100 blinds. If you want to sign up, there's a couple of different sign-up options. You can get the premium option, which is over 800 quizzes and homeworks and chats, and there's staking opportunities. In order to get picked for the staking opportunity, you need to do well on these quizzes because they do use them as a way to vet the people that they want to back that makes most monetary viable sense, for lack of a better sentence. That didn't feel so good. Anyways. So that's that. If you enjoyed this, we do this every Saturday at noon Eastern. Me and my main man, Crazysixes. So make sure you tune in next week. And I record these. They put them on the YouTube channel, so keep an eye on that. If you missed any of this and you want to catch up, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If you have questions for Sixes, I will make sure that he gets them. We talk every day. And you can see every study session stream we've ever done, ever, on that channel. So make sure you do that. And for that one, we have this right here. So there's that. What's going on in the giveaways? We got a decent amount of people in this giveaway right now. We got a decent amount of people in this giveaway. I'm going to give it another minute, and then we're going to run this bad boy. Looks like it's starting to die out. All right, let's run this sucker. Closing the giveaway. Drawing the winner, it is Cyrus the OG. My man. Fist bumps, buddy. Congratulations on the $10. Let me know how you want me to send it to you. Hit me up with the whisper. You know how to find me. You hit me everywhere. And we'll get it. So I'm going to throw the host. We'll also be back tomorrow playing Big Sunday. Of course, we got Grizzlies. We got Moss. And all that jazz. You know what? I haven't done this in forever. I think I'm going to throw it to my main man, Lappy. Yeah, I think I'm going to throw it to Lappy, guys. So until tomorrow, I will see you later. Deuces.